Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Drain Domain podcast. I'm your host, Byron Gutierrez, and today we have a co host, actually. We have a guest speaker, Mr. Byron Sr., owner, founder, CEO, what is it? VOO, FEO, whatever it is, of Byron Plumbing Services. He has been in operation since 2006, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, 2006.
Since 2006, he's been a master plumber since then as well, and a plumber for how long? About
More than 30 years.
more than 30 years, longer than I've been alive in this earth. And with that being said, as you guys know, I just passed my journeyman exam and I got here my paperwork that came with my license, which I didn't bring with me right now, but my dad wanted me to really read and emphasize this part of what came in the mail. And this is straight from the Texas State Board. Quality plumbing systems installed and inspected by qualified individuals truly help protect the health, safety, and welfare of the public. When you first earned your license to work within the plumbing industry, you personally became an important part of this mission. Thank you for accepting this task and taking the responsibilities of your occupation seriously. So, some very good stuff and words of encouragement from the Texas State Board. And I guess you as well can kind of relate to it, Dad, that you've been doing this for over 30 years, protecting people, every person that you've serviced, everything that you've done in plumbing. And we're going to talk about where you've been in plumbing and kind of all the way around because he's had a lot more nice experiences than I have, which hopefully I'll have as well one day, right? But definitely it's a good, I feel like we've talked about you being in a podcast here and there, and I really am excited to have you here because the experience that you bring in, I don't think a lot of plumbers have it. I don't think a lot of plumbers have done all the different things that you've done. And not only that, but also kind of your personal struggles and tribulations that have brought you to this point, being here in a podcast studio with your son. I mean, when you think about it, when you started, I don't think you ever thought about being in this position. And really quickly, before we dive into that, I want to talk about something that we did this week. Me and my dad, we had to go do a smoke test. And I personally never had experience with a smoke test. What were your thoughts as far as like doing it? I know you were kind of comfortable with it because you've done it before. It's been a little bit since you've done it, but what did you think about it?
First of all, it's an honor and a privilege to be with you today at this moment. And yeah, and I thank God for this moment that I'm with you. Going back with your question about or reference to your what you just said about the smoke test. Well, yes, it's has been a long time that we used to do our smoke test a little bit different than what we have today, especially the equipment. That's the different. Long time ago, we had to use what we have, and we had to be very creativity. We had to have a lot of creativity in order to make it to find the problem. And yeah, it's something that is important or is more accurate to find that the smells in the house, especially if it is sure gases smell, because it's a little bit different than other smells that are inside the house.
Yeah, and I remember the customer the other day was telling us that his wife couldn't sleep in the bedroom because of the smell was so bad for so long, and that's crazy to me. It's crazy that it gets that bad. As plumbers, sometimes we don't really smell those smells, or we're kind of nose blind to them. Yeah, we smell a smell, but I feel like for other people that aren't used to the smell, it's a lot worse. And something that you've always mentioned to me is whenever you do have those sewage smells, you have to understand your sewage system is connected to the city sewer. And the city sewer is not just connected to residential houses, you're connected to other areas, doctors, hospitals, morgues, all of these different odors. And of course, they try their best to, yeah, you have your solids interceptors, you have waste interceptors. They try to minimize the amount of stuff that goes into the sewage system, but you still have some of that residual stuff. So when you do have sewage smells, it's something that can be very important to address because sure, it's a bad smell, but there's more to it than just a bad smell, right? I remember you were telling me about kind of like a sickness. If there's something that's making you sick and you go to the doctor to cure it, they're just curing the symptoms. They're not taking care of the solution, which is a very good analogy, which I really liked and enjoyed. But yeah, that sewage test, that smoke test, something I've never done before. I look forward to doing it more in the future. It was very interesting to me and seeing where all the smoke is. And I had to climb up in the attic, and it wasn't the most comfortable attic. I would say, I told my dad, I was like, I'll do that. I'll do that part. You worry about outside, because I was in the attic before, and man, you're like on your stomach pretty much and going over the joist and the beams and all that. But it's one of the experiences that we have as plumbers, right? Making sure that we can get
Yeah,
through there.
yeah, definitely it is. Yeah, because now another thing is which and the reason I think that you and I want to speak about the sewer gases or these odors is because in the inside the house, you have your air condition, and it, it pulls air, and that make it a little bit worse if those gases are not properly sealed or trapped inside the house. And eh, that's what is important. Every 5 years, at least, I will recommend it for
Hmm.
for customers to do some sort of investigation, or some sort of call a plumber that they can go into their house and check for that smell.
Yeah. Well, even then, because I mean, even your whole plumbing as a whole, there's so much stuff on top of the attic that people don't realize is there, or maybe they know it's there. Of course, like your water heater. Okay, that's in the attic. My pipes. Okay, they run overhead. Here in Texas, that's the way that we do it, overhead for the most part, and people don't really realize what's going on in their attic. Their water heater could be leaking for days and weeks, and they have no idea, they have no clue, or it could have signs of corrosion. Their pipes could have signs that it's ready to just go. And we've seen it before with those galvanized pipes. They look in horrible, horrible shape, and they don't realize it until it's too late. And I think that's what's important about having a system like a smart water monitor and shut off system, which we're still learning more about. We're learning how effective they are, of course. We're learning every single day, trying to do our own research before we recommend them to customers, because we want to make sure that we recommend is something that we are comfortable with recommending. But the only surefire way to make sure that everything is good is if you have a professional come and take a look at it.
Yes.
And there's stuff that you can't see. Like I said, that maybe you don't feel comfortable going in the attic, or maybe it's not safe for you. Many people have different kind of physical physicalness to themselves, to where they can go in the attic and stuff like that. But
Yeah, checking the plumbing, or have somebody uh, qualified to check the plumbing in the attic, especially like you say in the attic, is because again we're going back to the pipes. Pipes they break, for an example, and that's how that happened. And a lot of times, people say, "Well, we just got 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago that we have this bad odor in our bathroom or in our house." And sometimes happen because of course it's hard for them to pinpoint, because they don't know, they only know the smell. But in order to find out what is causing that smell, especially in the sewer smells, is that you had to have somebody with experience, and then that is what we are very we have experience in all these areas. And because pipes breaks, imagine the pipes coming from underground
yeah,
to the slab,
has to pass through the foundation and all that.
passing the
Yeah.
foundation, and that is a potential though.
Yeah. And another thing that scares me, and this scares me, okay, I'll be honest with you, this is probably like the most fearful thing. And this is talking about like a plumbing investigation, is when a water heater is invented properly in the attic. You know why? Because sometimes people don't get that smell. They don't smell that. They don't smell anything. And like you said, the AC comes on and it's pulling in all that carbon monoxide and it's distributing it out to everyone. And so you start getting sick, you start getting headaches. And this is not, you don't get headaches immediately. I want to let you know, you don't, okay, it's not vented properly. In a week, I start getting headaches. I mean, if you're starting to get headaches, it's been going on for a good amount of time. And that scares me, because if you have little kids, if you have babies that are more sensitive individuals to smells, that's very, very dangerous stuff. And I mean, let's be honest, you might not die from it, right? But it's still an issue. It's still something that's causing some type of sickness to you. And I think anything that causes sickness needs to be addressed, right? You're not gonna be there and just, oh, yeah, it's making me sick, whatever. It's something that I don't know the long term effects personally, but I'm sure that it's nothing good.
I hear,
And
I heard people they got sick with this kind of like they say, I got this mystery water leak. You heard that before?
yeah,
Now, sometimes people it might have like I said, I speak with customers, people a lot, and some customers they sometimes they mention I just come from the doctor and have these headaches and they say they can find nothing, kind of mystery,
yeah, with them, yeah,
that they have, and again, uh, yeah, checking the pipes, the smell and checking the pipes because again the pipes break or the flashing like do we find out
yeah,
and what's happened is you want to have somebody qualified to check those pipes especially in the attic like you was mentioning because you got your flashing maybe a wind a storm kind of pull those nails out and now you don't have a properly
proper seal.
seal,
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
and pipes break again, especially the water heater vent. What's the importance? That's why we have this test and
Yeah.
to where we had to know what.
Yeah, for sure. Just I think investigating everything is important, especially like you said, the vents and smell stuff that you don't really see. Because I remember one time I had to do, I think they remodeled the bathroom, but they remodeled the bathroom because they had a leak that they didn't know about, and this was a roof leak. I don't think it was a plumbing leak, but it was leaking over their baby daughter's bedroom, and they
Yes.
had mold all
Ah,
around that they didn't know about. And so the baby was getting sick and not getting any better. It was getting worse. And when they finally got to it, they had mold all over the bedroom of their baby. And people, whenever they buy houses, they get their inspectors that they say, oh, someone inspected my house. And there's nothing wrong with them. I'm sure they have a good idea of how different systems work. But I honestly don't think that they're as thorough investigating plumbing as plumbers would be, because plumbers have seen different stories. You have seen garages where water heaters have exploded. You have seen mold in different areas. You have seen all these different causes. So we are a lot more mindful of these things because, like the Texas State Board says, it's our responsibility for the welfare of the public. So I definitely think that's important. But yeah, guys, I just want to take a moment to talk about kind of like that smoke test and kind of segueing into getting your stuff looked at. It doesn't have to be every single year. It would be nice, of course, as a plumbers, you want to push it as much as possible. But in all honesty, every 5 years, like you said, I don't think is a bad idea to take a look, because you have your water heater. That's what life expectancy about 7 years. You have galvanized piping, which really from what 70s 80s we start to seeing they
yeah. Well, they have all different countries they made with the different type of
the
galvanized
steel.
steel and the quality is different than what's in USA. And whatever the pipes in USA that are made with really good. Now, with the going back with the oilers, a lot of times come from under the toilet, like a
Yeah.
99%. And the reason why I say 5 years is because if you read when you put your wax seal, it say this is good for
Replace. Yeah.
this is good for these years. Now, if a professional plumber installed the toilet, maybe it's installed properly. But if it's somebody else just installed the toilet and they don't know really, they don't know, because they don't know, they just set the toilet and they just caulking and forget about it, and that's
Yeah.
just where would it come for a problem, and yeah, our recommendation will be check all this plumbing, especially all or every 5 years because the wax seal, or just replace or just reset your toilet. Now, for plumbing like pipes in the attic, water heaters, you should do that every year. The reason is because water heater is the last thing that the people do.
Yeah.
They check every year the air condition, but they never thinking
When was the
about
last time you serviced it? Never.
Yeah, never, exactly. Now, and and what's the other thing you were saying, about the mold? They have the air conditioned drains that they clog. Normally, the service guy, the air conditioned guys, they only service the pipes and the unit, and the primary drain line is connected with the sewer drain line. So a lot of times, those pipes sweat because of the heat and the cold, and that is causing mold. That's just, I think, what happened in that house where it was kind of, and if it's a two storage home, and what happened is not many people in the house. Sometimes they just don't go upstairs very often. So it's really worth it. Have a professional look all those pipes.
Right.
And I'm glad that you are talking about all these points, because it's just to pass that information to the customer, and probably it's some plumbers out there that are listening, and they I hope they agree to what we are trying to say here, because we see people got sick. We see people that are very uncomfortable, like the wife, don't want to sleep in the bed, in their bedroom, where the main master bathroom,
Yeah.
And that's just
Yeah, I mean, you're paying for the house and you can't even enjoy it,
Exactly. So that's where we are talking in here about this problem that we see is very common, but people don't know what to do. And again, there is a lot of plumbers up there that they never have this kind of experiences
Right.
with equipment and what to do. Because now, in order to do the smoke test, it needs something. They need the equipment, number one, and number two, they need to know what they're gonna do in order to make it efficient, or some sort of make
the preparations to do it. Yeah, the setup.
The
Yeah,
setup,
because like the clean out the other day. Yeah, the clean out wasn't even good, guys. I mean, the clean out was
backwash, and the homeowner was saying it's a clean out, and I look at it and I said, man, it's holding water. Kind of got me a little bit, but the homeowners sometimes they acting like they really know their home, but after we dig and we find out that
yeah, he was pretty convincing.
I got a plumber. He just done it. Well, he said he got a plumber.
Yeah.
He just got it like done a couple of years ago. And he done it. And I said,
ago.
man, why he did it like that? And my question until I dig and I found it. And then I set up his house now for
future services, not just smoke tests. We did have to do it for the smoke test, but if they have any blockages in a sewer system, if they have to inspect it with the camera, it's set up. It's we didn't do it just for the smoke test. It does help, but you want to make sure that you have all those preparations in hand, because if you're a plumber, there's no way you're doing it like how it was.
Yeah, because you had to start from one point outside the house.
Yeah.
If you start inside the house, it's possible you can done it, but really it's more
accurate.
I think it's more accurate from outside, pushing the smoke inside the house. And the smoke is not it's not like a smoke, it's a special.
Yeah, special smoke,
It's
non-toxic,
not
stuff.
toxic.
It's a liquid that they have. We were using I think it was a Power Smoker 2 is what the machine was called. And it uses a liquid to kind of, get the liquid and make it smoke, and you can see it. They also have some smoke emitters, some bombs, which I think you've done before, mostly with those.
Yeah. Yes, I remember those days. I had to use vacuum and use that kind of bombs. Which I think it's not. It's if that's something that if a plumber doesn't have let's say they are in another state and they want to do something like that, it's something that they need to look at it. And I would recommend it to invest in a good equipment, to make more.
Well, because you did mention to me, I used to do the smoke bombs, and I think that worked a little bit better. This is my thinking of that, okay? Because this machine that we had, it was pricey. It was $2,500 machine. I'm sure that we can find here. I could probably look it up right now as well. But the thing is that I think that this one, the good thing about it is that as long as you have liquid, you're going.
Yes.
the smoke bombs, I mean, they're pretty pricey.
And then you go quick. You gotta be in 1 minute.
60 seconds, yeah.
You
60
know,
seconds is how,
yeah,
yeah.
I remember, man. It's 60. You gotta have like 3 or 4 guys looking for the smoke.
Yeah, because if I go in the attic, yeah, so they have the superior smoke machine, which is what I've seen people use, which is the one that, so it has like a little blower, and then it has just that hose that connects to it, and you turn on the little smoke emitter bomb, and you just hold up to it to let the fan like suck it in and pull it out. And that costs $700.
I have that. I have that in the stores.
Yeah, so that's a $700 machine. So big jump, $700 to $2,500. If you're a business and you're just starting, or you don't have as much as these to justify that cost, you probably got to start renting out that machine on the weekends. Try to make up that cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a good machine. I'll say it was a good machine for sure. No doubts about it. I mean, they say that the liquid is more cheaper. If I'm looking at it here, liquid smoke. Let's see, single 5-gallon pail. They're still expensive. Yeah, $300 for the 5 gallons. It's so again, I like to always say these types of prices. Yeah, because
it's definitely
homeowners, if they do watch this, it's not cheap being a plumber and operating to help you out. Someone could easily just be like, "Oh, just use a vacuum machine." I mean, even the vacuum costs a good couple $100 if you want a good one.
Yeah, because you got to have a good one. You gotta have a good one.
It can't be just a small one or anything like that. It has to be a good wet back. So obviously, every plumber charges differently. There's different options and stuff. But we were working with a very good machine, and we'll probably see how we set up the new van, right? How we set it up to
correct. Yeah, because that's just
kind of pushing those out. Yeah, if you guys are in the Houston area, Byron Plumbing Services, we're here to help you out. If you have any sewage smells, as you know, we're here. We're the professionals. We've been doing it for many years. My dad has the most experience with that, and of course, I'm learning and I'm getting all this knowledge, which I'm very grateful about, because I mean, it's something that I maybe never even thought I was gonna do, right? And I've heard the stories of people doing it, or Mr. Edwin saying about, oh, we did a smoke test in the school or something, and I never thought that I would be in that situation. But here I was, this week, a week or two after getting my journeyman license, and I'm already getting that experience. One of the things
that's amazing, how the smoke coming out.
Oh man, I was amazed. I took videos as much as I could, and that's why I wanted to kind of be there as much as I possibly could. I didn't even eat yesterday, I think.
Yeah, me too. We're not even eating, because remember, they have this smell outside the house as well.
Yeah.
And they have this in the Sophie. It's called in Sophie around the house. They had this vent. These vents that
it's like a ventilation crates. They're like kind of crates. Like if you look at the like the air conditioning in your house, the top where the air blows out, it kind of looks like that, but it's all the way around the house to help the air kind of cool off some of those fixtures in the ventilation. Yeah.
And they say when they are right in there, imagine they are in the swimming pool.
Yeah.
And they have that odor coming out from there because, sure, or, it's uncomfortable. Yeah. I see the pool already dry. I don't know if that's the reason why they don't want to be outside,
Yeah.
But the thing is, odors come from different areas inside the house. If they're close to the house, it's coming from somewhere, somewhere in the house, And sometimes I find out as well that when the sewer drain lines have some sort of dip, like holding water,
like a belly,
kinda? Yeah, that can create a smell.
Oh yeah, that stagnant water just sitting there sometimes.
Correct.
It gets that bacteria. Because it's not just it's water. If you leave water down, standing water or still water, what they call it, it's gonna hold bacteria. It can be very dangerous stuff.
Yeah, because it's a solids and everything is in there.
Brain eating bacteria,
It's and then, again, we are here for past information, and that's what we are here. If they have a question about it, they can contact you, and we can help them if we can. Somebody and
Yeah.
That's what we are for. Very proud to be a licensed plumber in the state of Texas, and I'm very grateful with God about my son. Like he say, never. He thought I gonna be in this place now, but for me it's a great honor, pleasure man, I feel the more how can I say, oh man, my words come short, because my heart is just to see my son doing what first of all, he's doing what he's like to do it. He's
Yeah.
you're
You're
doing what you like
overwhelmed,
to do
man.
it.
You're overwhelmed with emotions right now. You know?
I said, man, you sure? Man, you sure? It's not
Yeah.
easy job, man, but you take that and you take seriously, and I'm very
Thank you.
applaud
Thank
you,
you.
man.
Yeah, I'll say, I've had a lot of different options to go with different routes as far as careers go. Because I think that thanks to you, I've done very good in sales. And any sales course that I've had at the University of Houston, I've done exceptionally well. I have certificates I could even pull out if you guys don't believe me that says this is a top guy in sales and stuff like that. Yeah, I went to University of Houston. Now, last semester, this month, we're starting it. I'm almost getting emotional thinking about it. The road that has been until now. Not many people my age can say it. What I've done is not something that I just take lightly. I take it with accomplishment and pride. I think pride is the best word to say it.
Correct.
And
That's
not
true.
in a ignorant way or a greedy way. More of a I've worked my butt off all these years
Yes, sir.
because I'm trying to set myself up for a better future. Mostly, but having those accomplishments under my belt, it feels good. It feels good, and if there is a young guy out there that's looking at everything, it's possible. It's possible to do all the things that I've done. It's possible. Is it easy? Heck no, man. It's not easy. There's going to be times when mentally you're exhausted. And, I'll tell you that there's times when for weeks, maybe I just feel like zoned out, like not even really there, just because, especially when school's down, I'm like, my girlfriend's, why don't you pay attention to me? And I'm like, I'm trying. I don't even know what's going on, man. For the last 2 weeks, I don't know who I am. I don't know what year it is. But regardless, it's part of the process. And I've always, my friend Evan, who he's in the military now, I think he's going to be a ranger, or he is one at this point. He told me, pay the price now so you can pay any price in the future. And it sounds good, right? Pay the price in the future, any price that you want and stuff, obviously with careful
That's
and
right.
care. But as far as paying the price goes, you pay the price one way or another, right? Maybe, I didn't spend a ton of money in my education because I did get scholarships, but my time, which is the most valuable thing
Yeah,
out
sure.
there, is something that I've really spent in this, because you're talking about studying this whole semester. Last semester, I was studying for my exam. I had to take a couple weeks off to go to my courses. I've had to spend time with family. I've had to do this, I have to do that, trying to take care of myself at the gym, which, I got to get back to it this year, 2025. But, yeah, that's one thing I want to say is as far as careers go, I've had different options. But for me, plumbing has been something that I've always been drawn to, something that I've always come back to. And no matter I've gone different areas, I've gone the corporate route, I've gone the other hands-on mechanic route, and I didn't like it. I'll be honest with you, I didn't like it. And it's not that I wouldn't, because I feel like I'm a hard worker anywhere I am at. I'm going to give my best. I'm going to do the very best that I possibly can, arrive on time, leave when it's time to leave. And, if I need to put in an extra hand, I will. But plumbing has always been the one where I've always wanted to come back to. And I think that's kind of what I want to talk about as well with you, Mr. Byron, is
All right.
your start with plumbing. I mean, did you even, I'm sure when you were younger, you didn't think you'd be a plumber, or, my dad did come here from Guatemala at a time when it was very difficult. And Guatemala, it was kind of a different time than what it is today. Beautiful, beautiful country, by the way, physically, looking at it. But they've had some issues in the past. So kind of tell me about, I guess, your start in plumbing, or kind of what got you into plumbing.
Well, I think uh, God put everything in place for. I see it until today. Many things that I done it. It's like He already had in place something for me. I was living in California at that time, 1989, and I decided to come to Houston, 1992, and I was working a car wash, and that guy told me, "Man, you want to work in plumbing?" And then I said, "Plumbing? Yeah, we had to go digging. Man, I never digging before, especially here. The ground is very hard." And then everything started there, and I started to look at the pipes and shovels and that day, and he just told me what to do, and then start to work on it, and then I start to feel that connection.
Yeah, I was about to ask
And the
that.
first day and weeks, I was putting pipes together,
Wow.
all totally wrong, because elbows in here, elbows in there. That's my thought. Elbows in here,
A T
elbows
goes
in
this
there.
way.
Yeah, exactly.
Center T's on the back.
And then this guy, he told me, well, he went to a wedding. Somebody was getting married, and then he led me in the job, and he said, man, I need you to do this and this and that, digging, But I was looking at the pipes. And, well, I guess this pipe go with there and that with there. So I put this pipe in there. Man, totally wrong. When he come back, he started jumping in the ditch and throw his helmet down to the ground and jumping. Made me cry. Honestly, made me cry. I was probably around 18, 19 years old. And then a Cuban guy, old guy, look at me and he say, man, you're going to be a plumber. And when he say, you're going to be a plumber, it's kind of like a grab me and put me in there and start kind of afraid to touch again, the pipes. It get me more encouraged, because I make more mistakes from that point, very crazy, because we got too many pipes to put it in. I want to help, and that's how it started. And then when I start to study, and I know there is some it's a process with hours learning, and I was working more in a commercial plumbing, and I work with good people. And that's what I have the opportunity to learn from them, and I just learn from crazy guys. I learn from really, really good people that they see me working, and they want me to be a license. They actually come with me already with the application already.
Wow.
And
Written that filled out for you.
Fill out here.
Yeah.
Here. What else you can, if it got handed to you something in your head, what? I mean, even if you think you're never gonna use it, whatever, and then, but you was right. You have a point in there. Pay the price now, because sometimes younger guys, they think, well, I'm a younger guy right now, so I just gonna enjoy my life and do this and that. But paying the price, early, is better. Even if it's a woman to have their kids. Honestly, if they have their kids a little bit early, man, when they 40, they are almost out.
Yeah.
They got their kids already growing, and they are enjoying, But if you wait that long, man, the price is more. It gets, like you say, sometimes, when we already got family, we had to be in the family.
Right.
If we know, this is just for the younger guys out there that they are trying to do something, of course, follow what you like to do, and it's very important. And but I think there is a younger guys that want to be a plumber.
Right.
And that's what we are speaking, and hoping we can something make sense to them, and they can, because there is a lot of big companies where they can start it. They have the Plumbers Union. They have, other companies, service, new construction, all that stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, so you started off in commercial. What was that like? Was it mostly is it new construction, or was it repair and replacements?
No. That was kind of new construction. We started doing, for example, Pepsi. Pepsi is the big company who owns a lot of business. For example, they own Kentucky Fried Chicken, Pizza Hut, I think. So they, in that time, they are, Houston was growing more, and they are doing these restaurants, and we are the plumbers for them that time. And then and then we do a lot of utility work, doing like water taps, water meters, big water lines for buildings, high-rise buildings, call them fire lines, because we had to bring the water from the city to a mechanical room where the fire,
The systems,
the system for the fire,
yeah,
the,
sprinkler system and all
sprinkler
that.
system. Yeah, and that's what I got a lot of experience in this. How do all that work in codes and all that stuff, man. And we use not much technology. We got,
Oh
we
yeah.
don't use, those, machines that they have now, man. Before we only got a laser torpedo, man, and I have wear a black shirt,
Wow.
and I had shooting my target, and I had to get my helper, and then I said, man, can you see the dots in there? Can I see the dots? No, man, go there, And then that's how I line him. But thanks God, all those moments, you know, I learned something that if you really want to do something, you find the way to do it.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
You don't complain. You don't have a good pie wrenches or hacks or saws. You find a way.
Yeah, because I think I asked you the other day when we were talking about the podcast, and of course you were asking, what are we going to talk about? What is this and this? And I told you, I was like, I asked you, is there any jobs that you felt like you couldn't do or you couldn't accomplish? I don't know if you remember I asked you
Yes,
that.
yes.
And then I started thinking, I was like, is there, because I've been working with my dad for years now. So I was like, is there any jobs that we haven't done? And I don't think that we really have an answer. The reason is because as plumbers, as people who love plumbing as much as we do, we sound like nerds, by the way. We love plumbing so much. But anyways, as if you love plumbing as much as we do, the system's going to tell you how to find the solution, right? It's going to tell you what the issue is. If you have an issue, you're going to find a way to do it. And if option A isn't a thing you can do, go to option B, option C. And I think that really sets us apart. I'll say, and that kind of sets us apart as today's day and age, because if people don't do things the new route, if they can't, I think press some things, they'll be like, I don't know what to do. Us, we'll get out our solder bucket and we'll do all that, no problem. I have no issue with, creating my own pipe threads if I have to, because you find a solution yourself, and it's not easy. Because it's frustrating. I think that's the biggest thing, that plumbing can be very frustrating and mentally challenging a bit, because the solution, you feel like it's right there. I mean, sometimes I feel like I'm maybe one step away from finding the solution or finding how to do it, and I just can't. I'm like walking in circles almost, And one thing that, I like to say quotes to help people out is, if something doesn't make sense, don't do it, right? If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. If something doesn't make sense, you can't try to make it make sense. If 2 + 2 doesn't equal 11, don't try to make it equal 11, Okay, there's an answer for it, And I think that's something really important to keep in mind in plumbing. If you're doing something, I've done this about 6 times now, it's not working, do something else, There's another way to do it. And so I think as far as like our experience goes, we haven't really been hit with something like that. And I'm looking for that challenge. I'm looking for something that, maybe we've spent days on a job that maybe should have taken 2 hours, 3 hours, right?
Yeah, especially those jobs where I encountered jobs where somebody else was doing it. And always you are getting mentally asking yourself, like yesterday with the smoke test, why in the world this plumber done
Do it this way.
This
Yeah.
way. So you want to enter, but you still got that, And I got the other day a house for this very important customer. Well, all our customers are very, very, very important, but this customer said us because he's very respectful. He's a great guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working in his house and one of his rental house, and they don't have no pressure. They have like a little bit of pressure. And man, big house, you're talking about big house. And so there is a challenge where you use your tools, your experience, and still, try to find out what happened here. Why is no pressure in this big line, an 1.5-inch copper line, And but fine, I was able to find.
Yeah, because I went there the first day when he first mentioned that there was something going on. I went there and I opened up where the water shutoff is. They have a hose bib there, and I opened it and you had pressure. You go upstairs and you turn it on, you have no pressure. And I looked around all the different hose bibs and they all had pressure. And so I was like, okay, so just this point doesn't have, something is going on, where we're losing pressure. And I couldn't figure it out. Time was running out. I had to go to the next job. So what I did temporarily, I remember I I think a hose from the one that had pressure to the other one that didn't have
Yeah, well,
pressure.
you see,
And then
you
I
find
was
a
like,
way to.
yeah, at least temporarily, because I was like, okay, well, at least now you guys have some
I
pressure.
think that, yes, we did it.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And then I remember I was like, man, did I do the wrong thing? Because sometimes as plumbers, you know that there's a problem, and if you create a temporary solution, the homeowner doesn't call you back, right?
Mhm.
Because especially we saw that during the freeze. A lot of plumbers, they use the clamps because that's what was available at the time. Nothing wrong with that, because it's only wrong if you do that normally, right? Or if you
Mhm.
don't come back to fix the issue, because
And they
it's
charge
not.
for that.
Yeah, it's something that's temporary. You know that it's something that's not going to last you, maybe even 3, 5 years. But yeah, I think that people got those temporary clamps, and still to this day. I mean, if I was looking at the weather, uh, and this is just for you
It's,
guys to keep in mind as well,
by
because
the
it's gonna
way,
be
right?
yeah, it's
By
gonna
the
be getting
way,
cold
yeah.
here in Houston these next couple of days. See if I can open it up, because I know it's supposed to be below freezing.
Oh,
So if you're a plumber, get ready to help out your community if possible. But okay, Sunday tomorrow we're gonna start off at 76 and we're gonna go down to 41. But then Monday, lowest 30, highest 47, and Tuesday again 30 to 50. So we're gonna be below freezing for those 2 days. But yeah, you have these houses that still have those temporary fixes.
and the customer don't call back,
They'll
right?
call back, and they tell you, "Oh, I'll call you back in 2 weeks."
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're in a rush. I think that I've talked about the process many, many times of having a good process, and we honestly are still trying to figure out that process to where everyone is trained in how to do things correctly. Because we have an app, and we want to be able to use the app efficiently. And I think that if we use it effectively, we're able to do those things. But as a company, if you do have a company, make sure that you have those systems in, because those customers, if something happens to them and it leaks in the same spot, I promise you, they're not going to tell you, oh, you told me to come, I'll call you back. I didn't call you back. They're going to blame you. You came here, you touched it, you this and this and that,
You own it.
And it's understandable from the customer's perspective. I try to understand things, not get too emotional. Something that I've been really trying to focus on these last couple of years, because if you're a plumber and you mix in emotional, it's a disaster, right? Because you have a lot of emotionally tough situations at times. And if you can't hold your emotions intact, you can be in a lot of trouble, by maybe you'll lash out at the customer, maybe you'll lash out at your boss, maybe you won't finish something, maybe your head won't be in the right spot. So that's definitely something that's important as far as plumbers go, and I think just anywhere in life.
Yeah, anywhere in life. But what I like to, and really what got me out of trouble a lot of time, a lot in my life. I think thank you to, I will say thanks to the system of the plumbing, because we had to, in order to maintain our licenses, we had to maintain a good record.
Oh yeah.
They will not renew your license if you are in situation. That's what. But again, going back with jobs that are challenges. Yes, there is some jobs that are really challenging. And something that I think I talk to you a lot is that not just start to destroy, because I see, electricians. I'm sorry, I'm gonna talk about it. Sometimes, they just come, with a hammer and they start to knocking.
They're our best friends, man.
Make a hole in the wall, and just
Yeah.
make it. I'm trying to. That's the last thing I want to do. I want to investigate what's going on, where this leak, because I have I encounter a lot of situations where pipes are leaking, mystery leaks, and all that stuff. And to this moment, I can tell you that I found it, and
Yeah.
I found the solution.
That's
and,
right.
But that is sometimes more challenging than the other, because again, when you enter in a job already, and I have a lot of, I think there is in the webpage. I don't know if it's still what's calling this letter that the customer gave you was calling testimonials.
The testimonials.
Testimonials. Where I take some jobs that somebody else was doing, and and that's a challenge.
Yeah, no, yeah. And I was telling them, the listeners, that if you do have a plumber that maybe isn't a plumber, maybe a handyman, plumbers are best friends sometimes, are handyman. They keep us working at times. But if they've done something and you have to come and fix it, it's gonna cost you more. Okay, think about it. You have someone that you already pay to start the work, or you already pay to do something. Let's say they abandon it halfway. You as a plumber now have to come in, mouth open. Oh, what the heck just happened? What am I stepping into? Okay, now I have to fix how to fix it, how to find a solution. What was the first problem that the first plumber had that now we have to fix? So it's a whole thing that it's really important to call a licensed professional. I know that sometimes it's not as far as your payments go, as far as how much it costs. I know it can be costly. I know these things. I understand it, but understand that we aren't here to scam you. I'm sure there's some bad plumbers out there that's giving other plumbers a bad name. I'm sure that there's some, just like anything, like mechanics as well. Some of them get bad reps, but there's some really good mechanics. So communication, I've said this before, communication is super, super, super important, because when you have a good communication with the company and the customer, there's no getting it wrong. If there's someone that's already not communicating to you from the beginning, if there's someone that's not really telling you these things, you're in trouble. You're in trouble, because lack of communication causes problems. And that's something that you kind of was something, a little struggle for you at the beginning, huh?
Yeah, especially because I don't speak perfect English, and and I have that struggles, with the communication. But I think if the customer call a licensed plumber, they have the warranty of
Oh yeah.
that person is qualified. And like I say, a lot of times customer, or they got this kind of advertisement where they say, well, we check the background of these guys and this and that, or we check our employees for this and that. But no. But the state guaranteed to the public that if they have a licensed plumber in their house, it's a guy who is already qualified.
Yeah.
Which should not have no problem and issue at all, to enter into their house.
Right.
Long their licenses. Because, like me and you, we got our licenses, and, we got our name, our life there, because
yeah.
we entering with,
Yeah, and even us, I mean, we go the other step of registering with the Better Business every single year, making sure that us in check, our Google reviews, making sure that we push reviews for the customers, not because it necessarily just helps us out. I mean, of course, I'm not going to lie here and say reviews don't help us out. It helps us out because we know the quality of work that we do. But when someone comes and tries to see what type of background we have in writing the type of plumbers that we are. We're not just plumbers that can just speak and talk and, we're just good salespeople or whatever it may be. We have those reviews to back us up. We have the Better Business to back us up. And most importantly, we have the license from the state of Texas.
Yeah, where they can call and verify.
Yeah, and you can look at us online, online. It literally just says item license lookup.
License not. Mm-hmm.
And you can look up by name or license number. I mean, it's crazy how open us as plumbers are. Yeah, as plumbers, like my dad said, like tomorrow, I mentioned I'm going to go see the Texans game, last game of the season. I don't know how it's going to go, but I'm going to be there with my jersey. And, admittedly, I might drink a little bit, but I know not to get in the car and drive behind the wheel, because I know there's more at risk. Not only is it a bad thing because you're putting other lives at risk, right? But you as well, you're putting yourself as a risk because your license. I mean, even if you don't, God forbid if you cause an accident, but if you get stopped and, as a plumber, you lose that privilege.
That's it.
And it's not easy to get back, because I've heard you got to wait a year and then you have to go to the board and kind of plead your case and tell them what you've been doing to be a better person for the public. So understand that in Texas, I don't know about other states, and I mentioned that many times. In Texas, plumbers are held to a very high standard because you're going into people's houses. And I think that's one thing that I love about Texas is how Texas cares about its citizens. Many people may not feel that way, but it goes to show in simple licensing. I think anyone can figure out how plumbing works, right? But getting that license is that extra step and an extra process that a lot of plumbers are proud of to be plumbers.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
So another thing that I wanted to kind of ask you about was, how was your transition from kind of tell me a little bit of the steps leading up to getting your own company, you know, kind of how was it? We talked a little bit about the beginning of what got you into plumbing. Talk to me about that jump from being a plumber or kind of being, yeah, I guess being a plumber to now being a business owner, which is a huge, huge jump.
Man, uh, well, um, in that time, when I was doing commercial, I was single. I don't have not big responsibilities, and and then I don't have much. I not even want to have a house, not even a new car. So what it got me more and more, something that I had to once is gonna help me to make more, little bit more money to, to bring to home, and the second thing, the challenge, about getting things, the next step, like you say. I was doing the commercial plumbing, and then utility work, big jobs, and then until I have different scenarios in the life. Like for example, the company I was working for in the utility company, and the guy retired very early, 45 years old. He said, "Man, I'm done." So he's done, and now me was, I was making at that time, I think like a $14 per hour, and I was, that time, I talk about 22 years
Oh, yeah.
or 30, about 22 years.
23 to 25 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then start to call different companies, and they say, "Well, man, if you want to make a $14 per hour, don't not even come to apply." I said, "Man,
Man,
and that's
tough.
what they told me, man, because
Yeah.
they ask you how much money you want to make," and I said, "Well, it's what I was making."
Yeah.
And they told me right away, "Man, if you want to make that much money, you don't even come."
Yeah.
So I start to get my education, but the thing is, it's more challenge because I start to have my family. I start to have you guys, and Mary, and I said, "Man, really, this not gonna gonna take me that well in life, so I have to, not just because now I'm low plumbing, but I had to go for the next step because
Right.
a lot of plumbers that in that time they don't care about it. I
Right.
got a guy, they worked for us, and
Yeah.
he was my mentor in that moment, and he not even got his license,
Yeah.
but he was a plumber. But he stayed just like that.
Yeah.
And that was challenge. It's a challenge because when you have your family and you're not prepared, now it's a big situation.
Oh, yeah. It gets real. It gets real quick. You realize what real and stress really is. And I mean, you mentioned to me, we talked about kind of your jump to residential. Kind of tell me about that first company that you went for, going from now commercial to where was your main expertise in the beginning to now residential. How was that transition for you?
Um, well, the transition was, so I started to work in this company when I have kind of close to get my journeyman license.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy, he know me for a long time, for many years, know my
Mm-hmm.
work. And when I applied his company, he was very excited to have me in his company. He talked with everybody in there. This is Byron, and he does this good job, and blah blah blah. And then we agree with how we're gonna work. And but for some reason he thought that I'm not gonna bring my license. And I remember in that moment I not even have $100 in my pocket. Honestly,
Wow.
I don't have not even $100 in my pocket. And I asked him, "Man, can I borrow $100? I have to go get my test in Austin." And he said, "Sure, man, here." Very excited, man. "You bring the license, I pay you $18. He said, "Man, you're gonna pay me $18. So I start to,
yeah.
get more prepared, and man, and then have my license. But I'm kind of the kind of person that I kind of quiet when I do something. I'm not kind of like
You don't
talk
speak
to
about
my-
it, yeah.
Yeah, until I have it,
Yeah.
because I don't want the people to start to laugh at me, and things like that. It's just me,
Yeah.
But anyway, the next Monday when I come back, uh, I know that I passed it because the test. I study. I prepare myself before any test. Something that I do is if I know I'm gonna have a test, I prepare myself like it's the only chance that I have. I don't have other opportunities like some people they say, well, man, you go there and
Oh
and this
yeah, I
and that.
talked about that
Do you
last one.
understand?
My experience with a
But
tradesman. Yeah,
but me, I'm a little bit because I don't have my choice.
yeah,
I feel like it's the only opportunity because when you are. We come from Guatemala, and I thank you to grateful. This country opened the doors for me, and I doing what I had to do to work good for the
right.
country as well. But man, 1 week later, everybody same meeting, and everybody was looking at me. Do he got his license? And I so proud, man. I said, man, I got my license. And when they see I got my license, man, they say, man,
Anyone can do that.
and they say anybody can do that. Well, man, yeah. And then everything start from there. And I say, well, the only way that I can make better in life is take another step, and I communicate with the person who I work in. Like if I went to, for example, SMB Plumbing, which is the last company that I work in, man, it's great people. I told the owner, I said, look, this is my goal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he support me very, very good. And
That's
he
good.
told me, about his story, about his father, how it started, and he gave me more fuel, like I say, more
fuel to the fire.
Fire, and that's how I started in business.
Yeah, and I like hearing those stories about going from a plumber to now a business owner, because the amount of responsibility that goes into that is immense. I don't think people realize how stressful that is, because especially here in Houston, plumbing is very competitive. I feel like there's a lot of big companies that are pouring hundreds of thousands and even millions of dollars in their marketing. And as a small company, you're not able to do all that. You're kind of just able to, make sure you let your customers know, make sure you let your friends know and all that about it. Word of mouth marketing, because it's the cheapest for us. And overheads are high in plumbing, So for
trucks cost 80,000.
80,000 just the truck, and the markups that they do, they don't come pre-manufactured with everything from the floor mats to the crates that you hold, everything. I mean, you guys saw the setup that we had with the second truck. It's not because we don't want nothing fancy. Of course, if we can organize it better, we will. But for now, I mean, that cost to do all those things is expensive. You're talking about camera equipment to locate sewer lines that are
more than 100,000 you got in
easily.
every truck, and that's why we had to protect very good our trucks, because that's the tools we're using
and unfortunately
to be
people
able
will
to service better the people.
Yeah, you've gotten situations where people come and they take your tools while you're inside the home at night. When you got it in storage, they'll take your tools. It's happened many, many, many times. So as a plumber, and I'm sure that many people can attest to this as well,
but we invest a lot.
Yeah, you go through a lot of different hits in life, a lot of different hits, and you're a plumber. Plumbers typically don't have an education. I mean, typically they don't know about overheads. They don't really know about the cost of business, and they don't realize that the more volume, the cheaper it can be. But the cheaper it can be, the more customers that you get. It's this whole situation, the whole system. I feel like it's a chess match. I'll be honest with you, because we're here. You've built a great foundation for Byron Plumbing and have done a great job with the customers until now. You've set up the game,
yes,
right? The chess match, the chess pieces are all there. It's just about moves and strategy,
correct?
And in a way to where I can help out as many people that I can in the Houston area. Yes. I can keep the quality going, and of course grow, because I love that we're a small company, but I also love growth. I don't want to be those greedy corporate guys. I hope to keep my values, and I mentioned this. I hope to keep what I do, my values, because my values is what means everything to me, and it's something that I'm sure that it aligns with your values as well. Sometimes people say, "I'm sure working with your dad can be a headache." It's not. It's something that I think that we're just so aligned in our thinking, so aligned in our goals, like you said, the end goals, that we don't really bump heads that much. I don't think that we bump heads. I think that Sure, we have our differences at times when I was like, you do this or, done that and stuff. But it's not nothing crazy to where I'm like, oh, I'm never working with you again. I've never hit in that point. But I think that that's the important part of it. So as far as the company goes and our goals, I mean, you set the foundation, and it's been something that since 2006, we're going on to almost 20 years now. Next year will be 20 years. Year 19 is this year. Do you remember when exactly you started Byron Plumbing?
Byron Plumbing started. I mean, unbelievable. Uh, February 14.
Wow. That's not easy to forget.
Yes, because the beginning of the year almost, yes. And yeah, that was something that they almost knocked me down, because like you said, when you don't know the business,
Yeah.
overhead insurance and
Insurance,
things like
wow,
that,
yeah.
and communications and all those stuff. But thanks God, until this moment, like I say, the glory to God, and He's the only one, because, like you said, there is a big corporation there, like everything,
Yeah.
They want to kick you out, and you got to be strong and smart. But I not, I'm just, it's the grace of God,
Right.
and the good people that that I, serve.
No, yeah, I can say as well, the customers that we've serviced have been amazing, amazing, amazing. Any problem that they have, they don't hesitate to let us know. They recommend us to other customers. We've grown a tremendous amount in these past couple of years just because of word of mouth mostly. And it's been an amazing journey so far. As far as for me, I'm sure for you, it's been a lot of ups and downs. It's been high points. It's been low points, back against the wall. I've been there too,
And the line.
Yeah. It's not a
Yeah.
straight line, and it's not even a line that goes up, It's like it goes up and you're like, okay. And then boom, it goes down. And it doesn't even hit the floor. It goes past the floor, man. It's like hitting the floor is one thing, it goes past that.
Yeah.
And
But God is good.
oh yeah.
God, I don't, like, have you in the business. So God put everything perfect,
Right.
Because you just like to do what you like to do. You went to college and you are still in college, but you say, well, I'm gonna study this. And I just took it and I said, man, this is not a coincidence. See, this is not a coincidence.
Yeah.
It's something. And the good thing that you have a good heart to help other people. It's not, you're not just you're not just thinking yourself. You thinking on other people, how serving better your customer, the people, and I remember you say, you went to, well, that's something that you got in your heart, is helping families that need plumbing that they cannot afford,
Right.
And something that that's how I work. But I cannot tell you
Yeah,
everything that I good things that I do. But
Yeah.
when you say that, I'm here and there, that is what really made me really, really happy. And knowing that you are going to help other people, serving, people, and not just make a living. Of course, we had to.
Yeah.
But there is another things that you put
Yeah.
in there, and I'm so proud of.
Thank you. Yeah, and I'll say, as you as well, I give all glory to God for being this and in this position. People say, "Oh, it's you doing the plumbing, it's you doing this and this." Sure, it is, right? But God has put the great people in my life to do these types of things. He's given me a great father, like you said. It's just almost pure coincidence of how things have happened. I don't think that there's any way to where just someone throws a random atom on it and say grow, and it grows into me, and I go over here. Because even at that last company you were with, you were telling me that I was there with my mom while you were in the interview.
Yeah, it's just like exactly.
You know,
couple days.
You're talking
like
about
six,
that.
6 days.
And then we're growing up, the toys that I had were PVC pipes.
That's
right.
That was what I was afraid.
That is where my start happened and how I grew. And so it's been a great journey. I'll say it's been a great journey, and been great being as far as like kind of your student almost. I've had a great mentor, and we talked a little bit of smoke test. We talked a little bit about your start in plumbing, and I guess if people love hearing you and seeing our dynamic as we're, let us know once a month at least. We can be back here.
Yeah, sure.
And I definitely think that we've hit a good time to kind of wrap this up for today. Thank you for being here, Mr. Byron Sr. We'll go ahead and get this posted out here. And anything else that you want to say, or you know?
Well, like I say, plumbing is a very extensive industry. That if the customer or some people wanna asking you about something,
Let us know.
Let us know, and hope
Yeah.
that we can service many good customers as possible, and give us the opportunity, and you will see, what we have for.
Yeah. So again, guys, Drain Domain Podcast here. I'm your host, Byron Gutierrez Jr., and we have Byron Sr. here with us today. Every Wednesdays, we're going to try to pump out these shows for you guys, Spotify and YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe if you like it. We have done a tremendous amount of hours of work for you guys. We're starting off the year strong with our first guest. We look to have more guests coming. If you guys want to be a part of the podcast, let me know. Do not be scared. If you're in HVAC, AC, if you're in marketing, if you're in any line of work that you feel like we can learn from each other, let me know, and I'm be very happy to have you guys here. I probably can't give you guys, a fancy meal or nothing, but at least you'll have water and coffee.
Exactly.
Water,
Yeah.
coffee, and a good conversation is something that if you're interested in, of course, I look forward to hearing from you guys. Any questions, let me know. But with that being said, guys, the Drain Domain Podcast, I'm your host, Byron Gutierrez, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.